What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. You guys are piling in early on Valentine's Day. We got Alan House. Good morning to you. We got Albert, Andrew. We got Bill, David, D, Fabrice, George. We got Jay, Linder in the house. Good morning to you. We got Joe, Lauren. Good morning. We got Matthew, Michael, Paul G. Peter J is going to rock with us. Good morning to Rock Fullwood. Tim is in the house. Good morning. Walee's in the house. Good morning to you as well. All my peeps on YouTube land. I appreciate you guys being here. We got Honey Roy. We got Scintilla. La, 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 la. Good morning to you as well. All my lurkers in the back of YouTube. It's okay. I still love you, especially on Valentine's Day. Hit that thumbs up, that like, subscribe button, and let's get at it. Let's get at it. Wild day yesterday. Scintilla says make it bank in downside puts. Selling puts or buying some puts? You can probably make money both ways. I can get them both ways. Marius says, good morning. Good morning to you. Man, oh man, what a day yesterday, huh? What a day. Let's take a look at this one. Obviously, CPI came in hot, so inflation's back. TLT was getting crumbled. But today we got a little bit of a gap up. So I think IWM got messed up yesterday. I think the Qs got messed up yesterday. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. And today, nothing really too crazy. Tomorrow, I believe we get PCE coming out. And we'll see how the market wants to react on that one. But we are gapping up today. Definitely threw some high volume candles in off that CPI. One of you guys here asked me, I think it was Monday in the afternoon room session, do I think the CPI is going to affect the markets? I was like, probably not as much to the upside, but I think we get clobbered to the downside if we get those high volume. If we get some kind of a miss or something the market's not expecting. Basically, CPI is just telling us maybe June we get the rate hikes. We're gonna have to push the rate hikes back to June, so the market's kind of got to reset, reprice, figure out where they want to take it from here. But we do have a gap up. I do have a level right down here. This is somewhere in 494.77 as some kind of support. I have a moving average coming here. We got pretty close to it. We got a bounce. And ultimately, we did throw in a high wave indecision candle yesterday with this still gap down, still clearing out a big support, 497.75. My next support or my next resistance from here is 501.04. And again, PCE tomorrow. How's this market going to want to react to getting ahead of themselves before this number? And I don't know. I'd have to see, but I'm looking for 497.90, somewhere up in that zone as some kind of resistance. I would also say the top of yesterday's candle probably should be a good resistance. To the downside again, we do have a little bit of support built in, so probably a little bit of a chop day, I would think. And it would be very interesting. We didn't really see until the very end of the day yesterday. We didn't really see that buy the dip mentality that we are so comfortable with really come in. We tried it, got some little shaky, almost double bottom. Market tried to bring it up right into that developing VPOC, couldn't really break out. And then we just crumbled from there until the very, very end of the day, almost at the power hour, probably last 30 minutes of the market. We got some kind of relief rally. So do we hold it up? I don't know. I don't know if the buy the dippers are as confident today after a sell-off day like yesterday, but definitely confident enough to not gap down on us today. We are above yesterday's VPOC. We got some levels down here. Where are we gapping into? Not a lot of volume up here, at least on my 3-minute chart. My first target, again, 499.34. So that would make sense if we can get a little bit higher. But right now we're below VPOC. We got some of those moving averages, at least on a 3-minute, to support us up. We saw the daily. We got some moving averages still kind of coming in. We're above all that as well. So I do think we're still bullish. I don't think we're really bearish yet, but I'd be cautious. I'd probably lean a little bit to the cautious side of things. We got QQQ. I see some tickers come in. That's awesome. If you guys got some tickers, you can throw those into the chat as well. QQQ. Kind of another high wave candle. Looks very similar. The only difference with this one is we are a little bit stronger. The fact that we did end the day green from at least where we open. We're still down from that close. I'm looking at some kind of support, at least from yesterday's VPOC 427.88. So we'll see if we can break out of that. I do have another support right here. So 429. And then we start getting hit with the resistance 432.30. I don't know. I think today might be a little bit more choppy. I think today might be a little bit more choppy of a day. We've got some pretty good support and resistance on both sides. Everybody's bullish until you're not. Yesterday was the day we were not. And we might need a day to kind of settle in and see if we could start to gain a little bit of support, let some of those moving averages come up. Again, I'm not saying that this market absolutely crumbles unless PCE tomorrow is a little rougher, and then maybe we can get some pullback. But I can see a little bit of a chop up here for a little bit until we get some more key news in the market. Maybe some job numbers, something like that to help break us out, push us into a certain direction. But maybe we're in for a little bit of chop, and that could be today, could last for a few days. TLT. Still not cooperating. So big, strong down day. We finally broke. We were looking at kind of this level of support for a while, right? We got back, we retested it. We stayed pretty much 3 days inside there. Nice, clear breakdown of this one. This one is even a retest gap too. So we'll see how this one wants to play out. I am at one little level of support. Broke that one. So next real support is about 91 on this one. And then resistance is probably going to be to, I would say 92.48. But this is a retest gap. So maybe that helps get a little bullish momentum right out of the gate. So maybe we go bullish and then we pull back. I don't know if we should be swinging for the fences today on a lot of trades, but maybe take some gains when we could get them. All right, let's cover some of those tickers coming in. Centilla says NVIDIA and SMCI did not sell off. Why? What's so special about them? I know it's AI. Nailed it. Yeah, it's AI. It's still strong. We've absolutely ripped. You still got to play. Again, I was kind of covering this in the afternoon too. If you're looking at the PE, you're far extended. If you're looking at the forward PE on NVIDIA, you're only like 34 times earnings. And again, what does the CPI mean? It means inflation is back on the table, right? If inflation's back on the table, Jerome Powell can't lower those rates. Higher for longer. Who's got all the money in the world right now? NVIDIA, Apple, a bunch of the tech companies. I'd say probably Google. They don't need a lot of the loans. Let's take a look real quick before we get into those tickers at IWM, since we're talking about it. IWM kind of got a little bit crushed yesterday as well, right? A lot of the smaller names that would benefit from seeing those rates lowered. Yeah, they're not happy. The bigger guys, the ones already making money, the ones with all that bullishness behind them, or on that they're riding right now. Every single dip on NVIDIA, there's still a lot of people not owning NVIDIA. There's still a lot of people not owning probably SMCI. Any pullback, any opportunity, people are still interested in buying because the target's going out a little bit farther, probably a little bit higher. People are still bullish on those stocks. All right, let's take a look real quick at Lyft. Lyft had a wild day after earnings. They reported earnings. We rallied this thing like crazy. I think we got close to $20, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, we got it right into that $20. But because the report was amazing, turns out there was a typo in the report, and then the CEO during the conference call came out and told us there was a typo in it, and it corrected the numbers, and then shortly they came after. So a little bit of a misleading statement I don't think it's something SEC. I mean, there's definitely some investors that got burned, and I can see some probable follow up. Maybe there's some lawsuits that come in because you can sue anybody for anything if you want to. I don't think any of them hold. I don't think this is going to require any type of SEC investigation because at the end of the day, it's a typo. There's no intent. Like you would need some kind of intent to defraud. If they come out and go, no, it was a typo and it was just an honest mistake, and they literally came out and said it in the conference call and then didn't try to cover it up. And then I think they revised the report and resent out a new one later. Still really good earnings though. Regardless, they still had really good earnings. But yeah, that typo is huge. And then I think all the algos picked up on the first report with the typo and just ran it up. So we'll see what happens on this one. Should be an interesting one to at least watch, but they did have good earnings. They beat earnings per share by 11 cents, 135%. They also beat on revenue, 4.41 million. And it is a pretty nice gap, but where we're opening right now, we do have a little bit of resistance up here. So see if we get some additional buying. I don't know what the short float is on Lyft. Let's find out. LYFT. You got a 13% short float. So we'll see if we can break out of there. Technically from that pre-market, but again, there's a caveat to that with the typo. The algo's running it. This one does have a pretty good short float. It is a good gap. I would be worried a little bit about some of the resistance that we now still have to get through. If we opened up closer to 20, I mean, I think we'd be running probably like crazy. But look for about 15, 19. See if we could jam into that spot. That still gives you about 39 cents to the higher side. And again, maybe the short float does play a little bit into it, but that is definitely at least a concern zone. And obviously, if we break here, we might see that closer to $20 range. Is just everybody who's shorting this thing is kind of dead to rights, and maybe the short floats get squeezed a little bit, but still, regardless, good report. Uber, I think, also is one to watch. They reported a buyback. So they didn't have earnings, but good timing on them to report a buyback right when you have Lyft reporting earnings. So pretty I think strategic play on their part. This one's gapping to all-time highs. This one might be a fun one to day trade. Probably to the bullish side. See if we get a little pullback first, but I think Uber might be a better play because even if Lyft gets going, I think Uber gets going. You got good news, and you're a lot higher here. So I would like to see a little bit of a pullback here first. The real support spot, I don't know if we get there today, but 71.88. But any type of high wave out of the gate, something like that, I think this would be a decent one to try to play that just all-time high play. We've been seeing it a lot lately, where something gaps into all-time highs and just keeps on going. TRIP. Uber's now 74. We got Trip is kind of still hanging out in yesterday's candle. I believe earnings did not come out on Trip yet. But we did see Expedia report earnings. And they got clapped on it. So be prepared. You do have earnings coming out. If you're looking for a day trade, you're still inside day range, so not a lot of edge. However, and this is also a retest gap. This would be something similar to what we were just talking about. Not as close. We're not at all-time highs on Trip. This one's got a little bit more room to go, I would say. Decent amount. Longer term, great double bottom. You got to watch those earnings coming out, though. I couldn't open a swing trade here today. Maybe looking out for some type of just bullish continuation could make sense. Just the fact that we held that level pretty well. We are still above this VPOC, and maybe we could rally. If I was going to day trade it, I'll probably stick to the bullish direction on this one. But earnings coming out legit tomorrow, I think. Today after the bell is earnings, so that could cause a little bit of choppy to Trip. Airbnb, fairly good report. Trading View is telling me they missed earnings per share by $1.2. I think the report was decent though. I didn't really hate on the report too much. Earnings per share, or the in terms of revenue, they did beat by 52 million. Again, if we look, pretty wild after hours that Airbnb had as well. So Airbnb did jump up. We were cruising up to we got to like 167-ish. And again, they did predict a little bit of a softer rental business coming out this next few months. So last I believe it was around this time last year, they were saying that the rental portion of the business looked good. They were strong. They were confident. Here, I didn't think the numbers were so bad. I thought the numbers were actually pretty good, and they did come out with a little bit of weakness. So, um, again, I wouldn't really mind. I think trying this one bullish, but let's see where we're lying this. Where we're kind of opening on this one. We got inside candle, decent breakout, good close. We might be trapping a little bit. Let's see if we can make it down to like 143.85. Let's see if we get a little pullback on this one. And I think this one will get bought up. I do think this one gets bought up. So let's check out for that 143.85 zone. See if we can sell off a little bit as we are trapping some people. So at the morning bell, somebody's gonna be losing some money. That was maybe a little bit more bullish on Airbnb, and they're just coming out going, I guess the market hates it. Let me sell. And that maybe could get us down to this 143.85. So let me scoot this one a little bit higher. I don't think we have to do anything at open on this one. But if it comes a little bit lower, I don't think the report was that bad. Upstart. Upstart is starting downstart. Branching off, trying something different. According to TradingView, at least we got earnings per share. They beat on earnings per share by 1.79%. They did beat 5.842 million. They reported 140 million. They don't make a lot. They are a pricey company, I think, personally. Can they be something big in the future? Maybe. I don't know. But you're kind of in no man's land right now. This one probably continues, I think, down at open a little bit further. I wouldn't mind seeing it get to like $27. If you're bullish on this one, you're probably waiting for that 27. Otherwise, you could probably look for maybe a little pop at open, see if you could break underneath it. It's not going to give you that much room to play it. And maybe if you have a stretch target on this one, 26.14, that would be your best bet if you could get down there. Otherwise, you have a little bit of support. Would have to come a tad lower. Technically, a retest gap from yesterday, but I think the fact that we're breaking down this higher lows, decently bullish pop that we just had, I think I'd be a little bit more. I don't know if we get that crazy bullish pop today. So I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent on it. If I was to try it long, it would have to come a little bit lower for me. Get me some better risk reward. Get me to that much oversold zone, and go from there. Jay wants to take a look at Enphase, ENPH. Decent gap up. Again, no man's land. I'd want this thing to pull back a little bit, get down to like 123.61. That would give me room up to 129.65. Yesterday, I don't know. Yesterday it showed a little bit of strength, to be honest. It actually held up, so we gapped down with the rest of the market. This one kind of closed right at the close of Monday. That would tell me that there's not as much weakness in this thing. I think we're still kind of playing off this gap. We are still now above this high wave candle. It might chop around, but if it comes down to probably this 123.42, at least then I get good risk reward to the higher side. One thing that could move this in, and this could be a sympathy to ALB, which is reporting, so I know a lot of us have it for the 10K challenge, but ALB does report tonight after earnings or after the bell. They report earnings after earnings. So as soon as those earnings come out, that's when they're going to drop the real ones. Kind of like the Lyft play. That was what they were doing too. Come to think of it. But ALB does report today after earnings. This one's a little bit more of a gap and go. It's been absolutely clobbered over the head with a sack of nickels. So um I think I don't think the report's going to be good, but I think that's kind of priced in too. So I'm a little bit more bullish on ALB for today. I did sell some puts down at like 104 yesterday. Toward we were sitting around like 112, something like that. So we'll see what happens. Otherwise, a little bit of resistance on ALB, and then if we could get the break, we do have a decent amount of room back to the higher side. But anything energy kind of, and we saw energy start to get a little interesting on Monday. Got a little bit interesting on Monday. It looked like we were starting to get some kind of a bullish break, and then we get clapped with CPI, but still fairly held up pretty decent. And I do see one little resistance on this thing. Otherwise, next target 120.48. And then we got the earnings today after the bell. All right, let's see. This is time to time. They were selling at the top. They mentioned the typo. If that happens, Miguel, so if they were selling at the top, but we'd have to see some kind of actual reports on that, then you get a little bit more of a case that there's some intent or some manipulation. So that would be a little different. So far, I haven't seen anything that they insiders sold at $20 on Lyft, but it seems to be a typo, and I think there's no. Unfortunately, investors will lose money if they just went off that first report. Lucian, no, I haven't seen what Marta posted on Lyft the other day. Mar does look interesting. Coin, Mar, Riot all look interesting. We'll run through these ones real quick. But crypto is running. Bitcoin, I think, was at 51. I looked at it when I woke up, so like you know how like you wake up and your eyes are still like blurry and stuff like that. But I think I saw Bitcoin at 51 today. So that's running. Again, this is a lot of buying into this gap up on Mara. We are at a little bit of resistance. I'd see if this one wants to fade first, but I also wouldn't be shocked if we run. I mean, if we're now gapping out of this, like this was a good resistance, kind of the opening of this red candle. We're now above that. We're already up roughly $2, just under $2. And we'll see what happens at this resistance. Otherwise, next target, if we do go bullish, look for about $30.97. And if we start to break that, I mean, we could get crazy. It obviously has a huge short float on this thing. The bears tried to keep it within this range, and we built a little pressure yesterday. Still kind of held up. Not even, I mean, it was a down day from the close, but we stayed inside. It's got good pressure on it. So Mara does look good. Let's take a look real quick at Riot, which I got an insane like amount of lines on, but Riot very, very similar. So we're starting to break out of that candle. Huge volume on that thing. And I'm looking at like 1766. I'm looking at 1817 is potential target. So you got about $1, but taking that out, I think Mora has a bit better short float than Riot does too. So we'll see what happens. Let's check out Coinbase real quick. Coinbase. Again, a retest gap from yesterday, also a retest from here. Again, I'd want this one to pull back a little bit into, I think it'd be healthy if it pulls back to like 148.02. We do have some resistance on this one, 153.91. But at some point today, if we get some kind of a dip, a double bottom, an interesting high wave candle at some point, even at the open, I'm not opposed to setting up Coin Riot or Mars just for the efforts on it. Just for the efforts. I don't even care if I lose the R. To me, that's irrelevant. The other one, Rock says Hood. Yep. Hood had good report. They came out, they beat, they got 4 cents higher than earnings per share or than expected. They also beat with $16 million revenue. And what's the big thing that Rock knows the answer? What's the big thing on Hood that they weren't investing in and they got absolutely killed because they spent about $1 billion to invest in it? That was the crypto markets. So they have been heavily setting up, getting involved, making sure that you can trade crypto on their platform. And crypto's starting to go crazy again. It's starting to leak into some of their earnings. This is a really good gap. Hood's short float. Hood, I think, is decent. 7%, so that's not bad. This one might actually be one of my favorites. One of my favorites. I'm going to get that to the top. Again, I'm going to need a setup on this one to give me like a high wave that opens, something I could go bullish on. Definitely one of my favorites, though. I'll tell you what, we got 2 minutes left. But it's Valentine's Day. I love all you guys. So all my people on YouTube land, I'll tell you what. For Valentine's Day, what I could do is extend it. We'll extend the live feed for the first hour of the market. So that will run us up to 10:30. But I need you guys to like the video. And then I also need some more followers on Instagram. So I need like at least 3 people to follow on Instagram. DJ Dan Trader on Instagram, no spaces. So if I get some likes that come in, that's the fee. I work in my currency is likes and follows on Instagram. So DJ Dan Trader on Instagram and like some YouTube. And let's go. Let's run it up. So if we get that in, we'll extend it for another hour just on Valentine's Day. Let's do it. Let's go. Rock says it's a deal. Paul says AMD. Let's see what happens here. Again, I think you still want to stick with NVIDIA or SMCI. You're still in chop zone on AMD. I would even make a case for Palantir. Yeah, Palantir is a little choppy right now too because it just already had a run. But watch this one. I don't know if today's the day we break. Look at resistance for 176.06. And eventually, if we could get out of here, again, this is, I mean, everything AI still got the power behind it. AMD's earnings were not terrific. They weren't bad. They were okay. But based on the run we had, and they bought this thing right back up. So watch for NVIDIA. NVIDIA coming out next week could be very, very interesting for the markets. There's that morning bell. We got like 8 Instagram follows. That's more than 3. You guys are crushing it. All right, let's do a screen share. Let's see what the market wants to give us out of the gate. We'll run it up for YouTube land till 10:30. Let me just readjust my charts. And I want to pull up Hood for sure. Getting that little pre-market break. Let's give it a minute, though. I do have a high wave out of the gate. Again, I don't even mind if I lose an hour on this trade. To me, it doesn't matter. But 1384. Still going to give it till the close on this one, but 13.84. If it runs without me, it runs without me. I'm going to go 1339 would be my stop. And again, I'm going to just be patient. Oh, they already kind of tried to break that. That's okay. I'm still kind of playing that pre-market high wave more than anything. Lyft is going crazy as well. ALB is pulling back ever so gently. We got Hood twice on my screen. We got, let's pull up, what do we want to do? Mara, right, or Coring? Let's go Mara for now. Mara with the hammer. The hammer of love for Valentine's Day. Let's take this pre-market break. That's not bad. 29.16. I'll let you guys know if I actually get into anything or feel anything, but Keep in mind, especially for my people on YouTube land, it's not a recommendation. I'm just a guy on the internet. Do your own research. Make sure that you have the right, if you take anything, whether it's following some random person on the internet or you're doing your own assessment, make sure you have the correct amount of shares for any type of risk based on your own portfolio. In fact, to just avoid all disclaimers, I will tell you, if you get into any trades that I'm personally taking, you just will lose all your money. So I don't think I can be any more clear on my disclaimers. Hood's still giving us some kind of opportunity up here. SMCI is chilling. ALB is interesting. I'm not going to trade ALB just because I have it for the 10K, but maybe we do throw on the end phase and see if we get any sympathy on this one. A little bit of a high wave out of the gate, nothing too crazy. Mars is going crazy. I did not get any setup on it yet. I'm waiting for these 3-minute candles to close. Give me some kind of opportunity somewhere. Hit that like button. I mean, whatever you're into, whatever you into. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to trade. All right, let's see what else we got. In phase, dropping like a rock. All right, Mora could give us a little setup here. At least we're getting a tiny pullback. Again, I'm just trying to figure out how to get in, how to get out, and when, why, and how. 29.55 now. 29.55. Hood would be one of my ones that I would prefer to get into, even over Mara coin, right, without a pullback, but I'm not opposed. 28.57, which means I just got to be a little more careful with Mara, right, and coin. My personal day trade. Mara. I'm a little concerned about that $30 mark, but what was it? 31 we could almost get to 29.55 by 28.57. Let me throw this one into Slack. Last night we let the liquor talk. Day trade. All right. So I'm setting up more again. If it comes down, great. I don't care. I don't get filled. M Sky wants to take a look at MU. Hood. So far, good thing we didn't get filled yet, but that one's starting to pull back as well. And again, the one question today that's a little different than maybe not yesterday, but every day for the last, I can't even count how long before that, everything was by the dip. Yesterday, I think, put a little bit of fear into the markets, Tad. Like, oh my gosh, we had the 1-day recession. And now does people want to buy the dips or sell the rips? CLSK. Maybe. Let me check the daily real quick on that one. CLSK. Big retest gap. It is a retest gap. Let's see if we're into any type of resistance. Kind of. You're at the top of a resistance right now. You're right into the resistance here, so be careful. That one actually might be shortable for the fade as opposed to attempting to go long. Mara, again, just chilling. DraftKings, I know this is giving you a setup though. So if you do like it bullish and you think you could break that resistance on CLSK, 1838 is where you get in. Probably your stop will be somewhere around 1774. But the setup is there. It is a big retest gap though. So I'm gonna wait on that one for me. Although I do like those, I do like that candle pattern. DKNG pulling back. I think they have earnings tomorrow after the bell, I believe. Let me just map out Mara real quick. Probably just on Mara. If I get filled, I'm probably gonna go for the 1.2. I also do want to look at Coinbase as well. That might give us some room. Yeah, I have this $31 mark on my screen that I'm like, do we break out of that on Mara? But let's see. Let's see what we would need. 29.55 is the bullish entry. That's going to throw our stops. Our stop is still in a good place. It's 28.57. They got a big short float, so things could go crazy. We've done a few 3R trades on this one. I don't think this is going to be the same scenario. 30.72 gets me that 30.72 gets me that 1.2. And that's where I'm going to target. I'm just a little bit afraid of that $31 target. Especially being that it is a retest candle. So I'm going to be more focused on the stops if I get in this one. And again, we might get triggered, or I might get triggered, and then this thing absolutely wicks me in and collapses. I lose the R. I'm prepared for that just in case. We look for something else. Deepak's in the house. What's up, buddy? What is happening? Did you sell any puts today? Hood trying to get a little bounce. Not yet. Yeah, I didn't sell anything. Just what I had yesterday was good for me on that little gap down. We'll see. Watching like a hawk. Yep. Like I said, like I told you last night in the group, it's just a matter of getting the matter of just getting started, getting comfortable, and going through the process. Lyft is taking off. Lyft did have a 10 EMA. It was also a pretty good breakout candle. I just did nothing with it though. But Lyft is starting to run. Win is taking a look at Coinbase. COIN. 153 by 150. I love the stop on it. Let me see Coinbase on targets. Again, if you make money on coin, we're probably set good for Mara, I would assume. It'd be a matter of time. Coinbase looks good though. Starting to run. Targets on that one to me would take me to. You're into a little bit of resistance here, so we got to watch what happens here. Somewhere right around 154.28. The next spot up would get you up to about 157.94. So I'm not sure if that's enough for you on a $3 stop, but you're up about a buck already, $1.16. And then you got to 157. So that gives you might have enough room at least for a 1.2, 1.4, I think. But we'll see what happens. Upstart, brutal gap down. Yeah, that was a rough one for them. Goodbye, Upstart. You had a dream, and I respect that. Hood, maybe new setup on Hood. 13.72. We go a stop of 13.24. 13.24. My personal day trade Hood. 13.72 by 13.24. We could probably also adjust that Mara trade too, but let's see. Let's give it a second. I'm going to set up Hood as well. And again, this is a good spot for the short. So obviously we didn't just rally out of the gate. It is a really good gap. I kind of wanted a little pullback. I think we just got that pullback now. But this spot right here would be a good spot for shorts to kind of come back in. So anybody who was in this thing long, they're now getting out of their shares if they were just wrong on the direction, and this is a good spot to flip. But that's why my entry is going to go right above it just in case. This candle's still open, so I'm aggressive on my entry order. But if this thing closes and then we start getting back up there, I kind of like that one. Mara, could we adjust this? We could, but I'll probably give it another second. We could actually bring this down again. I'm concerned about the target, so that might make me want to take this one, almost get back to that pre-market break, 29.21, especially coins going crazy. Let's see how this one works. 29.21. Stop would be in the same place, 28.57. That one I might take. Am I gonna have time? Update Mara. Might not. I might not have time for this. We'll see. 2-1 by 28.57. Okay, they're giving me a little time. Copy. Let me throw this into Slack. MU. Now that MU looks a little bit better. So I did update my entries on it. It still might be a 1.2. 29.98 is target. Let me update this on my trading view. So stops stay the same. We got 29.21, so we get a little bit of a lower entry. And the target for the 1.2. We do have more room on this because we did take down the entry, so we could get a little bit higher if you guys want to go for more. For right now, I'm just looking for, I'll go for 29.98. Just trying to stack a little bit of wood out of the gate. The SPY hasn't done much. I mean, we're trying to rally a little bit after a brief, tiny drop. Otherwise, nothing crazy. Tesla's dying, low key. Not liking the big red candle on hood. I kind of like it more. I obviously our confirmation would be above here. We get to like 1381, that's our confirmation. But they did rally this thing up. We're not dying. This is definitely an interesting spot for some consolidation. And we got that high wave candle. So if we break, great. That's okay. If we get any close above 1381, I think we're good. But Rock says if you like it, I love it. I don't know. Maybe that's not the best judgment of character. Don't. Mara almost filled me. Got close to not get triggered. I don't think it got to our entry yet. I like that consolidation on it though, for sure. But we got two trades, and again, I'm just trying to get the 1.2 on both if I can. You just got filled on Mars, so I'm in on that one. Again, I'm still going to be just monitoring my stops more than even my targets. This thing, I think, has the ability to get close to that 31 zone, so we'll see. But I'm filled. 10 EMA on AMD. Yeah, that one looks good. The daily's still in that sideways pattern. That'd be my only caveat to that one. But more I got to try, especially with Coinbase just absolutely ripping at this point. Nice trade on that one. I'm hoping that's enough to bring up Mara and Riot. MU's kind of hanging out. What's Riot doing? RIOT. Not holding as strong. Not yet. And again, if the Mara trade doesn't work out, it is a retest gap. So that would make sense. But looking for a little strength to come in. I still got, that's some really good consolidation on hood. We shall see. Both hood and Mara kind of look very similar. You got that big red candle. We're just kind of hanging out chopping. So very similar to how I want hood really to if we get filled. And I should set up that chart, but 1382, same thing. I kind of need Mara to run up, get a close between or somewhere above 29.55 for any type of potential confirmation. Otherwise, we're still in chop zone. Did I put this chart in Slack? I don't think so. Copy link. Yeah, let's throw this into here. Let me just scoot Mara up on my lists. And let's make sure I got the lines for hood in case I get filled. Bullish entry, and that's 1372. No, I lowered my stop. I lowered my entry, Deepak. Yep. Originally, we were up here, 1382. We have an updated setup. Or originally when no, yeah, my bad. We updated the Mara setup. This one originally I was looking for up here, but this high wave we kind of hung in there. I'm okay taking on a little extra risk on it. So essentially, I'm playing this high wave candle. Coinbase is absolutely tearing it up. Let's see. We got where are we at with hood stop? We put in for 1324. And then a 1.2 on that trade takes us to 1429. We'll go 1430. Again, we can always adjust targets depending on. I mean, I'm in on Mars, so I'm in on one already. But if I can move my stops on it, then I could either move the target for hood or move the target for Mara, depending on kind of how the things are playing out. Let's see if I get this in Slack as well. Paste. Mars either gonna chop around here for a bit, and then in like one candle, it gets a little crazy. I would imagine. It'd be like one big candle in either direction. So we'll see. All right, a little bit of a S curve on hood, still kind of just staying pretty flat. Let me check out my peeps in YouTube lands. YouTube, you guys are quiet. You guys are a little quiet on YouTube land. Yeah, Mara is trying for us. We got Hood trying for us. Or at least Hood's hanging out without filling us, so that's good. And then we just need a little bit more love on Valentine's Day for Mara. Out of coin, got a solid 4 R's. How do you get 4 R's when you had a $3 stop? Coin going absolutely nutty. Cindy, I see you raise your hand. Let me know if you have a question. Yeah, great play. That was a 10 EMA or 2. Oh, you might have it was I thought you had $3, huh? Wanted a bigger pullback. I just want Mar to break out, and this is really, really good consolidation for us on Hood. So again, I don't know if we get filled, and even if we get filled, maybe it's just a quick bull trap and we sink. Anything is possible, but I would think if we get filled on that Hood trade with this amount of pressure building, that might be decent for us. Could be. Or if it just ends up sinking down, I'll take that too. Bradley says, what do I think SPY goes to today? Let me see. SPY, I think, will be a little choppy today. So far, that's playing out perfectly how we kind of thought pre-market. Up down all around. I don't know. You're testing that buy the dip mentality. I think that's our main question today. But I'm looking at to the high side, maybe somewhere between like 497.83 and 497.99. I think those are the two biggest resistance. I don't know if we're able to get through those or not. If we do, then we probably have a screaming bullish day to back to 500, 580. But for I can't say that now. So give me like 497.99 to the high side. To the low side of the day, I'm looking at like 495.12 to 494.71. Those would be my support zones. And we're still just dead smack in the middle of both. So we'll see. Target on Mara is a 1.2 for me. Again, you could do it how you need to, but I have $29.98. So 2 pennies before that psychological $30 number. My true targets on this one, I think we can get to about $31, but again, I'm gonna take what I could get, stack some gains, and then try to find a trade somewhere else if I could get there. I will move my stops though. So I'm gonna move my stops up on Mara to 28.78. 28.78. New stop on Mara. 28.78. Let me move that on the charts. So essentially, we just took off a little bit of risk. We did get a close right above that red candle, but it took us 3 candles in a row to get there. So not sure. I still got hood open. Micron looks good. I like that hammer a lot on Micron. I forget who. Somebody in my YouTube land was talking about that one. M Sky. I'm not sure if you jumped in on that or not. A little bit of a pullback on AMD, so that's kind of hanging out. Overall, I mean, and tomorrow we get PCE numbers coming out. So that's going to be like the double whammy. We just got CPI. The market didn't really like it. Came in hot. So we'll have to see how the PCE is. Otherwise, for right now, I mean, in a longer term basis than the minute chart or just seeing what one candle does from CPI, I'm still leaning a little bit more bullish than bearish in the market. I don't think we've seen enough to say that, okay, we're pulling back. Right? It's still healthy to have one down day. That's not bad. But then the question is, what happens today in the market? I can only go with those ranges, and that's about it. Let me share the. I don't know if I shared the hood in Slack yet. Let me see if I can do that. Copy link, Slack. Maloney says, I thought we were friends. You had your day yesterday. Let me have mine, Maloney. Let me have mine today. I don't see enough for like that bigger pullback, but you picked it. They gave you a good day. In fact, I think the market knows when you're on the mic. They're like, all right, let's just go bearish from loans. Let's just have some bearish days. Although I didn't see all your trades, but didn't you go bullish on something at one point? And I think it was like the correct move too. Yeah, you had your one day for a down day, and you're like, nah, I'll go bullish. 2 trades bullish. Now you're stepping on my territory, Malone's. Now I don't. I feel a certain kind of way about that. I don't know. Bradley says I have 496 options on SPY. Are they 0 day? Or are they like Friday expiration? All right, so Hood not taking us in yet. Doesn't want to. That one doesn't want to be our friends yet. Mara's still trying, looking good. I still love that consolidation on Hood. That's wild. That is the perfect setup for us to get bull trapped. Love it. You'll see Tesla starting to fight back a little bit. MU's trying. We need what, about 38 cents, I think. 38 cents on Mara. Might be able to get stops up a little higher. A tad. I'm gonna move those stops up to 28.86. $28.86. New stop. Here. 28.86. Looks good. And Hood, I gotta leave that open. I can't not leave that open. Yeah, we'll see. And if we hit that 1.2, maybe we go for a little bit more on Hood. I mean, the problem with Hood is, I guess there is not really a problem. It was a good gap. Maybe longer term out, we have a little bit of resistance up there. But stops are not to break even yet on Mara, so we'll see. And now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is our 8th candle on this little bullish move from when we just kind of nosedive. Not really nosedive, but trying to make a recovery out of this big red candle at least. So we'll see what happens. Potential double bottom on lift. Let's go. LYFT. Double top. Oh, that's different. That's different. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to go short on lift today. At least not yet. I would look for those double tops and then ignore all of them and then just wait till it goes even higher. Yep, be careful on the short side of lift today. Oh, got those on Fridays. Yep. Well, you're at 496 now. Again, not a lot of movement on the SPY. We might get triggered on Hood here. Let's see. We might get it. There we go. All right, now for that wick. now for that trap wick. But I am in on Hood as well. So far I got I still can't really move my stops to break even on Mara. I'm gonna just go for the 1.2 on both. Miguel, you're in on Hood. Yeah, we got it. We got to clear through this at this point. 1381, but that was a lot of consolidation for us to get triggered on. So that's good. I like it. I like it. We have to see if we can get a close here, or if this is going to turn into just like some bull trap, and then we just either die or trade sideways for a little bit. We'll see what happens. But I'm in with you on that one. And again, if we can control stop somewhere. But after that consolidation, we finally got some kind of break. We'll see what this thing closes. So far out of the gate, it looks a little bull trappy, but candle's still open. And then we got our boy Mara working for us still. Let's go. We need a little bit more. Oh. Let's get some momentum. Momentum to the bull side. Lift. That double top is off the table. So we did make a new higher high for the day on lift. Tesla. This is an interesting retest spot. This is about the 618 retracement. So let's see if the shorts want to come in on Tesla here, or if we start breaking out of that wick, we probably start leaning a little bit more bullish. Daily chart's not great though. And then we got MU. That one's continued to work, so that's a good call. Good call, M Sky. You're in right as well. Got wicked in probably somewhere around here, I'm guessing. 1714. Maybe you took the break here, 1709. All right. Tesla's starting to fade. SPY did get a pop. Again, that one's kind of looking a little bull trappy too. That wasn't a horrible close for us on Hood, but also not the best. So we're not there yet. Probably I would expect a retest on Hood into like 1362. I'd be looking for some kind of a bounce there. And can't really move stops on that one. Mara starting to get a little bit more of a red candle. Unfortunately for this one, our bounce spots is below our entry on Mara. That's 29.11. And then back to like 28.99. Our stop is kind of close to that secondary one. So we'll see. We will see. First red candle on coin, and they're trying to buy that thing right back. So we'll see. PayPal short. PYPL. Yeah, that one's been fading. Down 51 cents. I think pre-market they were up a little. Yeah, pre-market this morning they were up. They gave that right back. All right, we got a little bit of a wick on hood, so that's decent. Again, we just broke consolidation, and that was a decent amount of it too. At this point, I'd probably, if I was to go for a little more than a 1.2, I might consider the hood over Mara, actually. But both still look okay. Lots of volume coming in on PayPal now. That should allow you to move those stops down a tad. Hood. Hopefully that consolidation is now support. Let's see what else is moving. MU, good follow through. Nice couple candles on MU. Even AMD after that little pullback, decent high wave candle. Not much volume on that high wave. What about Palantir today? PLTR. Palantir starting to run bullish. DraftKings, DKNG. Kind of still hanging out. Earnings tomorrow again. Tomorrow after the bell. Hood. What happened, Hood? No. Oh no. I just got stopped on a Hood. That was gross. What was that? What was that, Hood? Oh my goodness. Trapdoored. Oh, that was gross. That was gross. And now we got Mara in here too. Pulling back. I don't know if that was just news on yeah, purely liquidity. Yeah, that was a gross pullback. Oof. I didn't give me much room to do much on that. That's a stop hunt wick right there. I wouldn't even be shocked if that turns into a hammer. Big candle. That was enough to get me. All right. And then we still got more. More's at VWAP right now. Hmm. Yep. Santilla says today you're staying longer than normal. Yeah, I'm gonna run it up to 10:30 for YouTube. So if you guys have any questions, anything like that, let me know. You guys see any setups you want me to take a look at? We can do that together. All right, we got our full basket on Mara right now. That was a gross scandal. Gross on Hood. DraftKings, that's getting some bids. Possible double bottom on Tesla if you're interested in that one. AMD is on the rise. We'll see. And then this is kind of really the first pullback on Mara we've seen, and we could only hope there's no floodgate opening on that one. That Hood just. It is what it is. All right, let's see what else we got. MU still doing good. That was probably the shake and bake right there. Shake, bake, get them out. Airbnb. Potential double bottom on Airbnb. Got some volume coming in on that last little hammer. So that might be interesting. Again, I didn't think the report was that bad. Guidance a little bit weaker. Uber, the Ebs. $77. That one just didn't really pull back to where I wanted to. Netflix, chilling. You got Nvidia. Nvidia looks like it's about to break out. New highs of the day. Coinbase. Pure running. Mars not getting the same strength, which is interesting. We got to survive this pullback. We got about a half hour risk on the table on Mara. And there's a double bottom on Tesla as well. Let me see Tesla real quick. Daly's been rough on that one. SPY's still trying to go bullish. We got an interesting level of support here. I could put targets on Tesla for the day at like 187.24. So let's see if we were to take this. 184.85. And then we go to 183.30. $1.2. We need 186.71. That's doable. Kind of want this to be a red candle though. 184.85. That came up right into where we wanted it. So we got to go like 184.88. Mars coming down. Still in on that one. Nope, they just took me. Mars not as strong as coin today either. Too much resistance to break through. We could try this one, but we're getting some wicks on the SPY. Getting a little double toppy on the SPY. We still got VWAP to save us. This is a bullish engulfing candle on the SPY. And again, we're in that chop zone today too. To expect a little more chop. That is a great looking double bottom on Tesla. Whether it holds or not, I don't know. I mean, if this market starts to just plummet and this turns into a double top, I'm afraid that this thing just turns into a nightmare. We start breaching new lower lows. All right, we held the VWAP on SPY. Coinbase first real pullback so far. And now you got more underneath, not underneath, but you got almost double bottom-ish spot. If the bulls want to try to play more, this is kind of like the last hope, but we'll see if this one wants to hold. Tesla's trying to punch on up. Very sideways on the SPY though. What's Q's look like? Q's probably a little bit stronger than yeah, Q's still kind of hanging out. I mean, still have that same double top feel to it. Tesla support is right down here, so that was a good bounce spot. SPY is just making me nervous trying to get back in on Tesla. Apple AAPL. Doesn't look too strong on a daily. For a risk to reward purpose, somewhere down here would be a spot I think the bulls try to want to save it. I don't know if they try to. But then to the higher side of things, I don't know how much momentum this thing's going to get. But Apple's kind of just sinking still. Yep, I would chill on that one. Did Riot get the pullback too? RIOT. Yeah, that looks very similar. You almost have this double bottom down here as well. Crypto land. What's Bitcoin doing? Did Bitcoin just pull back? BTC, USD. Yeah, Bitcoin had that candle on it too. So you have Mara and Riot kind of dropping with Bitcoin. Coinbase is still kind of a little bit of a sympathy to Hood, believe it or not. Tesla's starting to go. I guess we should have taken the Tesla. Clean Spark, CLSK. Got a good hammer after a deep sell off. Plenty of volume on this thing. I don't know if I like this thing bullish or bearish though. CLSK. Also off the 200 on the 3-minute chart. Rock says you heard that you heard the new wait, what? You heard the news that Mark Zuckerberg tried the Apple Vision and said he was better. Yeah, he's probably not biased at all. Yeah, no, why would Zuckerberg he probably publicly goes, nah, I think the Meta is better. And then goes back into the team meeting. He's like, what have you guys been doing this whole time? Have you even tried? What do I pay you guys for? I don't know. All right, let's be patient. Let's see. Again, Mark is not really giving us direction one way or the other, although I think slight edge is still to the bullish side of things. On that Tesla trade, we would need 186.77 for 1.2. Penny or two at the new highs of the day. Do I trust Tesla to do that? No, what got me with your sentence was you did a capital N. There's no S at the end of the word news. And I was like, we talk about New York? Like that's how you would start like a state. And then I was like, oh wait, no, it's just supposed to be the news. Got you. Watching Airbnb. Good double bottom. You got this VWAP. So I mean, a couple things. I mean, this is obviously holding. We're not dropping, which is good. I just don't know how comfortable I am with the SPY here. We could get a little flushy McFlushy. I love this bullish engulfing candle. That's amazing. We got this inverted bull trap hammer. Not so amazing. We're kind of holding those levels, which is cool, but we've been chopping. All right, so you got bull trap, you got kind of a bear trap, and we're just chopping sideways. So I don't have a clear direction on the overall market right now. Otherwise, that's a good looking double bottom on Airbnb. You have a little element to a bear trap on it, so that looks good. You got the volume with it. If you were to try it, yeah, probably right about here's your entry. I gotta hate that VWAP right there too. I can't make much into it, so I would have to expect that VWAP does break. Grab the retest on Tesla. I just don't have confidence on Tesla's daily. It's probably not a bad play if it comes back down. But again, what if we get to get into Tesla? Tesla's been weak for the last, I don't know, 2 months essentially. We've been in this zone for a while. On that 1.2, we need a penny or two higher than the highs of the day, which I think is fine. I think that could work. I think we could hit that target. But if we get into something bullish right now and in this market, which I think still does have a little bit of a bullish edge to it, even the way we're just kind of hanging out above that, I think a bigger bear trap than it was a bull trap. But if SPY just starts to flush and we start to break down probably this high wave candle, Tesla's gonna be one of the weaker ones, or at least doesn't have as much bullishness to it. But that's the only reason I didn't really say, I didn't want to. I like the setup. It looked like a great double bottom and almost want to play. But I was just a little too scared on that. Apple got an engulfing. Yep, first real bounce of the day on this one. Got a little trap there. I will say you have a little bit of room to that VWAP, and then the question again becomes, can we break through it? And the next trade I take, I really want something that we could get 2 Rs on, because that would throw us back positive for the day after that gross hood trap. Maybe Mara again. Let's run through these. Let's see if anything else is moving. Should we buy long on Tesla? What Michelle would like to know. That's up to you. Honestly, I wouldn't throw my full account onto it. I wouldn't have to. I want to take out a second mortgage on it. But I don't think dollar cost averaging for a long term is going to hurt you. So especially if you don't own any shares of Tesla, you're not at a bad price. I can see Tesla definitely going higher from here at some point. But I could also see it coming down to like 160, 150, somewhere in that zone as well. So yeah, I don't think buying Tesla, as long as you're doing it in small pieces, buying a couple shares here as it comes down, buy a couple more shares. At least you now have exposure. You're not getting the FOMO. But the other thing you could do is sell puts. Yeah. So Jeremy said wait till see if it comes down to 150. You could wait, right? But then if this thing bounces here at 140, 183, we've been holding this level, and all of a sudden you're back to 240, 260. Now what do you do? Right? Let's say it never makes it down to that 150. So if you like the company, if you like Tesla, if you like the cars, it's not a bad spot to try to piece into it. Again, if you're trading Tesla, you're really looking at the candles. But if you're looking at, you have a company that the valuation is very high. Valuation is very high. But if he comes out and starts selling his robots, that trade would have worked on Tesla. If you start selling the cyborgs or whatever he's got going on, and that adds actual value to the company, and now it's not really just a car company, then we have to reevaluate the entire company based off of like, okay, it's a little bit more than a car company at this point, but right now they're selling cars. That's their business. Yeah, nice pop out of SPY. Good consolidation, good pop. Like I said, I think it still had that bullish edge to it. JT says Bitcoin just pulled back, but has been ripping. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Bitcoin is a monster, and I think it has a higher push here, but on that one candle it was enough pullback on to bring back Mar, bring back Riot. But yeah, no, Bitcoin, I agree. Bitcoin looks good. How to invest into SMCI? I think SMCI still has more potential to it. Again, is it high? Yeah. Will it go higher? Probably. So same type of thing. If you like the company, we did the valuation on it. What was it, 2 weeks ago, something like that, and we're actually comparing the market cap to Nvidia, market cap to AMD. Even though this, don't get confused on stock prices. Stock prices don't mean anything, right? Just because I think currently the stock price of SMCI is higher than Nvidia does not mean that SMCI is a more valuable company than Nvidia. It's based on market cap, right? How many shares they have out there. So actually, you have a much, much smaller market cap on SMCI where the growth could actually be pretty crazy. So I would do it the same way. I would, if you're looking to own it for the long term because you believe in the AI story, I can make valid cases that SMCI and Nvidia, also AMD, are probably just really the price is catching up to valuations or to revenue, right? So if you're looking at like the parabolic move of Supermicrochip, the parabolic move of Nvidia, AMD as well, it's very different than GameStop, very different than GME, very different than AMC. AMC moved without fundamentals. These were moving off short squeezing, everybody kind of piling in, but the fundamentals of GameStop and AMC didn't support the case for those numbers to be that high. I think if you're looking at especially forward PE of both these companies, I could make a general case that they're just trying to catch up to valuation, and you're seeing the parabolic move, but you got fundamentals behind them, so it's a little bit different. So again, I think Santilla said, how come Nvidia wasn't really dropping the way the SPY was? Well, there's how many companies in the SPY right now on this just nonstop move for the last year has gone absolutely crazy. Are all those companies valued correctly? Probably not. But there is some strength and there is some element to, you know what? I think Nvidia, I think SMCI, especially if the AI story continues to grow and it does become something and there's real marketplace in it, I could see both these companies at higher prices. So be aware of the fundamentals, and then if these things come down for dips, based on the fact that I think people are interested and kind of see that this thing could be higher from here, where the company does have some real growth to it. I think those dips are bought, and they'll probably be higher moves. You do have Nvidia earnings next week. Be careful of that. So, like, if it dips down and they miss earnings, which I don't think they will, I think the earnings are actually going to look pretty decent for Nvidia. But if it does dip down, I think people are going to be interested in buying. I don't think they're going to be too concerned. SPY is ripping. We're into 497, so starting to break out a little bit. I think the next target we had was about 500. Got out of Miguel. You took that one. Tesla trade. Nice. Beautiful. Well done. Bernard got back into Mara at 29. Yeah, I was kind of considering something like that too. 28.94. Let's check Bitcoin real quick. Again, Bitcoin just kind of had that one tiny little pullback. And that one started to recover as well. So that's good for Mara. That's good for Riot. Probably if we pull up Riot, that's going to be decent. Yeah, they're starting to move too. That was a good hammer as well. If we get the curve here, not saying that we definitely will, but if we do get some kind of rotation right around here, that could be a little bit alarming. You do have some kind of potential head and shoulders, but this is not developed yet. Still need some more time on that. 10 EMA setting up on coin. Let's see. Yeah, but that's high. It potentially, if this candle closes red, we're not even closed yet. But you're buying that high. Yeah. Does that mean it can't go to whatever target you have? No, it's not saying that at all. But risk to reward, I think taking this same trade 10 times, maybe 2 of those times could run to targets, and the other 8 fail. I think you have your risk to reward is off on this trade. Doesn't mean that Coinbase is not going to do something crazy parabolic today, but not a trade I would personally take over and over again. All right, let's see what else we got. We got like 4 more minutes. YouTube land. SMC is a meme stock. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's very different than a meme. It might have meme stock element to it, but I would not classify it as a true meme stock the same way that I would say even SoFi has a little bit of a meme stock feel to it. That one's starting to move a little bit today. Like GameStop, AMC, there was no fundamentals behind them. It was just everybody, let's buy it, let's rally. We got good short squeezes. It's the people versus the hedge funds. Very, very different. SMCI, there's a lot of people loving it, but the valuations are still there. They're just a much smaller company than Nvidia. So they have pure AI play to it, but it's very, very different. Uh, let's see. ARM. I'm trying to find something good, especially with the market continuing to break. The Tesla would have been a good one. Rock's stock is jamming. DraftKings, yes, it is. I got the cover calls on this one. I was hoping to close them before the earnings tomorrow, but I don't think so. And it's not for all the shares. So if they take me at 47, was it 47, 48? I think $47. If they want to take me at 47, so be it. But I still have more shares on the table. If it does make that move, if it drops after earnings, well, then I get paid on the cover calls, keep my shares, and all good. ALB, a little bit flat. Enphase, ENPH. That one's pushing 3% on the day, so that's not bad. My SMCI I sold at 400. I'm kicking myself today. Could not see it go higher. Don't be too concerned. You're not the only one. But I think this is also the interesting thing about any of these stocks. If you like AI, right? And you probably made some good money at 400. But if you like AI and you're like, Nvidia is just too high, SMCI is too high, AMD is getting too high. If you're like, hey, I want to lock profit, what do you do with the money to still have exposure to anything AI? I mean, maybe Palantir, maybe Microsoft. Even Microsoft's kind of high. Palantir's a little high. So where would you really feel comfortable taking that money and putting it in so you still have exposure to AI? And I think there's still a lot of people on the sidelines just wishing they're like, I wish I took Nvidia, I wish I was in the SMCI, right? And that's where you get the dips that just constantly get bought up. I think that will be the story for a while, unless some of these numbers start coming in and you're seeing the reports. I think all the anything AI related so far has had really good reports for the most part, except for AMD. AMD was a little bit of a miss on that one. By the time Taylor Swift returns to the Super Bowl next year, I heard she's the quarterback now. She is. You think DraftKings will be $100 by the time Taylor Swift? You heard it here first. I don't know. Maybe by the close today. I mean, we have to get through earnings first, Rock, and then it just jumps up. We'll see. Maybe by the end of the week. This is 200. Yeah. You bought it for 200, sold it for 400. 100% gain. Don't be mad at the hindsight. Still a strong move, and the fact that you stayed in for 100% gain on it. Many people would have took it at 20% gain. All right. By the way, real quick before we disconnect from YouTube, the other strategy you could do if you ever find yourself in that situation, you get in at 200 or whatever price and it doubles. You always have the opportunity to sell your original shares out just in case. Worst case happens, this comes back down, back to 200 eventually. All right, well, now you can buy more shares at the original price that you liked it at. Either way, you're playing with house money. You've gotten your original money out. Everything else after that is just all gains. But YouTube, unfortunately, we hit that time limit, so it is 10:30. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me a little bit longer today. You guys are incredible. be safe out there in the markets. It looks like we still do have some bullish edge. I'm looking for like 500 as my next target on SPY. See if we can get back up to there. Otherwise, for day trade basis, waiting for some kind of pullbacks or something like that I could hopefully take advantage of for the rest of the day. But you guys are awesome. PCE tomorrow. Make sure you guys know your positions. Watch out if you have any stocks that have earnings coming out today